What's going on, guys? I wanted to make a video to show you what I do for my tank maintenance on this 125-gallon Reef. I'll be going over everything other than the water changes because I feel that that one is pretty obvious and I've already made a video on that. So if you want to check that out, subscribe to the channel and yeah, click on the videos and you'll be able to find that there. I'll be going through the routine starting with cleaning the filter socks. One of the first kind of lines of defenses in the cleaning of your reef tank if you have a sump. So what I do, just to avoid a bit of mess, is I put them in this 5-gallon bucket and I'll bring these over to the sink and rinse them off. You can just flip them inside out and rinse them rather than like having to deal with throwing them in the washing machine. And I've even seen people say they use bleach, but really I just kind of rotate it in and out like this, upside down, inside out, and really get all that gunk worked out. Continue rinsing it as you're doing this. And then you can tell it's been thoroughly cleaned when water is freely passing through it like that. Now I'll go ahead and do the other two. Look how much stuff is coming out. So as you can see, my secondary drain right here creates a splashing sound. So I made this extension piece with PVC and I will put that in the first filter sock compartment to dampen the noise, and then the other two just pop in. Now in compartment 2 is the skimmer, and what I'm going to do is grab this hose attached to the skimming waste compartment, and I use these gallon jugs with the top cut off. This is probably the most universal maintenance tool I have, to be quite honest, as funny as that sounds. But I'll just empty the waste into here, and then I can remove the actual compartment from the skimmer and go rinse that out. Now we're going to take the waste container off of the skimmer. Sometimes these things are a bit tough to get off, so I just like to wiggle it back and forth. And I'll put that back in that bucket that I was using. Look at how gross these things get. I use a little bit of hot water for this part. And I'll just go ahead and take the lid off. It's actually not too bad right now. Not as bad as I've seen it. I always start with a good rinse before I scrub, just because a lot of this stuff falls out on its own. I have these handy dandy sponges that I only use for aquarium stuff. And I'll just go ahead and wipe all the surfaces down. And it's not going to be 100% perfect every time, but once I get, 95% of all that gunk taken out, I'll go ahead and put this thing back together. Boom. Look at that. Just like that. I like to take the hose and close the nozzle on the end and then drape it around this way. Now onto the Refugium. I will start scrubbing just all the gunk off the sides. A lot of people don't do this, but I'd like to have an overall clean tank. It's just less things to worry about. And then also, if you're cleaning, you can notice things that pop up like Aptasia and other pests. I also have a fish in here, so I kind of want to keep it somewhat clean for him. Now, as far as the return pump, I just try to make sure to wipe the detritus off, and then sometimes sponges will grow all over it, so I'll try to get some of that off if I can. I don't disconnect anything or turn the pump off, I just kind of get where I can. Now, it's not perfect, but this is kind of what your sump should look like after maintenance. Clean filter socks, clean protein skimmer, clean refugium, clean sponges, clean return. Check all that out. I could have definitely maybe scrubbed a little bit over here, but some things don't get cleaned in the small cleanings. This is more of a weekly maintenance for me rather than, you know, a monthly or every 6 months. I'll do a bit deeper of a clean. Now at this point, I'm going to use the flipper float to clean the glass. One thing that I am kind of OCD about is I like to rinse this thing off before it goes in and out of the tank. That's just because I have it sitting around on shelves and I don't want anything, you know, to accumulate on it. What if I'm cleaning in the surrounding area and a cleaning product gets on this and now this is going in my tank? That's obviously not going to be good for anything in the reef, so just want to make sure that anything that comes in and out of the tank is clean, just like washing your hands before putting them in your tank. Now I have these really cool plants that I hang on the side. This is a perfect time to take these off to make the sides of the tank more accessible to clean for the glass, and I can also water these at the same time. It's perfect because I have 2 sides to my sink, so I can water both of these at the same time and let them drain while I do the rest of my maintenance. Cleaning the glass itself with the flipper float is pretty self-explanatory. It's literally just a magnet with a blade on the end, and you just run it down the surface of the glass. But I wanted to touch on the corners specifically because the silicone is what's holding your tank together, and you don't want to pop the corners of that and weaken it over time. So you have to be really meticulous about going over the sides of the corners. What I do is I like to just get as close as possible and kind of angle it down like this. And my technique is I go parallel to the seams. I don't want to go towards it because I have more of a chance of slipping up and digging that blade into the silicone. So if I find a sweet spot like I'm doing right now, I can follow it along the bottom like so and go all the way down until I reach the sand bed. And part of the reason this cleaner is so awesome is because you can really hit the sand bed without risking any of the sand or pebbles getting in between the cleaner and the glass, because there's actually a little bit of space. The only point that's making contact is this right here. So I can go all the way down into the sand bed and just follow along doing that. And yes, I would recommend getting one of these. Before this, I used just sponges, and it was taking me like 20 to 30 minutes to clean the glass, maybe even more. Now that I bought this beautiful thing, it's taking me like 5 to 10 minutes. So it's a huge time saver. I know they're expensive, but get this. Probably one of the best tools in the hobby for overall maintenance. Guys, I actually didn't even notice this until now. One of the chromuses that I just got from the last video unfortunately died. I don't know who was the culprit or what happened, but I know that chromuses pick on each other. I have a big set of tongs for stuff like this where I don't want to reach my arms down all the way into the tank. Unfortunately today it has to be to pick up a dead fish, but usually it's to move a frag round or something like that. Now for the Powerhead, I'm just going to go in here with a sponge by hand and scrub some of the gunk off of the top. It's not going to be perfect, but I just want to get most of the buildup that's not coralline, obviously, off of here. So sometimes I come in with 2 hands, sometimes I come in with 1. When I'm mostly done with it, I'll aim it back where I think I want it and kind of tweak it from there. Right there, that actually looks pretty good. And then while I'm at it, the return, there's one in each corner, I'm going to clean that off just lightly with a sponge as well. And then I can get the weir, which is hard to see in this lighting, but all the way back there. So I can wipe the cover and then the face of it. One thing you'll notice is that I actually don't clean the back panel. That's something that I recently started doing. I'm just going to clean the front and then the side too. I kind of want to accrue that natural look over time with coralline and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. So that's the last of the cleaning that I'm actually going to do inside of the tank. Now it's just going to be wiping things off on the outside. I like to use a little microfiber, little rag, and get all the little crevices of dust wherever anything can build up, just on top here near the magnetic netting that I have. So I just wipe all the surfaces down. This also helps wipe off any salt creep that might build up that you can't see, especially behind here. So don't skip this step. Definitely important to keep all the surfaces clean as well as the inside of the tank. Now I'm still going to wipe the top of the lights, but I have a little trick up my sleeve to get places that I can't really reach, just to make sure that I'm minimizing the amount of buildup in these awesome expensive lights that we all buy in the hobby. Buy some electronic or keyboard duster and you can give the top of the lights a good spray. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but usually a decent amount comes off. It's more important on these Hydra 32s than the Prime, just because it's more of an open system with the fans directly exposed, whereas this one has a screen. But yeah, I'll be actually probably replacing this one with a Hydra 64 soon, because I'm doing most of my SPS down here on the tall part of the rockwork. But yeah, little side tangent. Make sure to get that duster on all the corners if you can. Well, what do you guys think? I think our work here is done. As far as the actual maintenance and cleaning, yeah, we summed that up pretty well. And I guess the only step would be to go over dosing, but I think you and I both know that that would require its own video with how in-depth that can get, especially since I'm hand dosing now and don't have an automatic doser. So I guess that's just an extra step. But yeah, we started with the sump and then moved our way to the display and finished with the lighting. So I hope you guys were able to learn something, or at least appreciate the process. I know that we all have our own individual equipment that we like using, but yeah, I hope overall it was a fun video to watch, and if you liked it, please comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, guys.